Hello again, Nissan Skyline fans. So, I've been looking for this one for quite a while. This is a freebie by UCC Coffee in Japan. And this came on top of 2 cans of coffee. That's why they're kind of round here. I had to buy it, of course. I don't live in Japan. I don't know, no idea what Dripar is. Nor am I gonna. If you really are curious, you can scan that QR code and check it out. But I'm not gonna bother. So there was a collection here. It doesn't say the date, but I have a suspicion there are 5 different models, and they're all Nissan cars, 1/64 scale. They're not the greatest models because they're free, but they're pretty good because they were free. So you gotta look at those 2 different ways. All right, let's get rid of that. Here's the Nissan website with the story behind this car. So they were planning to race this thing, this livery, but then they bailed out because they had to work on anti-pollution and fuel efficiency. This is the early 1970s, so specs-wise, we got around 160 horsepower. What kind of starting this inline 6-cylinder of 2 liters, and there, 14-inch wheels. That's why. I'm not sure why I like to know about the wheel size, but I do. Alright, well, bearing in mind again, this is a freebie that came with some coffee, so those 2 cans of coffee probably cost less than $2 or $3, I'd imagine. Alright, looking at the wheels, UCC coffee wheels are not very good in general, mainly because they're not passing air, right? It's the proper design style, but it's just not passing air, so I don't like it. Also, the side of the tires are totally flat, like they're like cookies, cookie dough cut, so it's kind of weird. What is nice that the plastic base is screwed in there if you want to do wheel swaps or something, but you can't really care about the interior because there is none. The window is just black plastic, which again, for a freebie, I'm fine with that, I'm okay with blacked out windows. Alright, looking at the front here, we have really nice metallic green. It's a pretty dark green. And then the gold printing here is well done. And you got that crosshatch pattern, the grill there. This intake here goes to the air filter, I imagine. But there's actually a grill behind it. Probably the same surface as this. And you'll notice this is just totally blanked off. And that's just the way the race car was. More of that crosshatch way back in that vent there. We have some orange for the turn signals. Looks pretty good. And then we have this 73 up here, Tampo printed, no decals, so this is paint, very good. Some vents, no paint though. Molded in really minuscule wiper blades. It doesn't make sense, to be honest with you, that small. There's a turn marker up here in the front. And then the door handle looks pretty good. There's a little bump for the lock with some silver on it. That's 73 again. This thing is actually not silver on that photograph, so I guess that's accurate. It's just kind of like body colored, or maybe it's black. And then the gold printing here is okay, I guess, and it says Skyline, looks pretty good. Then there's no rear bumper, it's a race car, so just a stamped steel body here. That's what those ribs are indicating. And then it says Skyline here, a little gold ring around that light, and then a lock there, some ribs here for holding the wing. So that's actually pretty accurate to the real car. Yeah, did I even bother showing you this? I think I did, I've already forgotten. But yeah, I'm really surprised they got it right, those little reinforcement ribs and the stamping, and then the gold rings around those larger taillights. One thing that isn't quite there is this should be white. This is the backup light, and then the recess should be red. So, well, again, it's a free model to someone, so I guess you gotta accept that, right? But all in all, I mean, this thing is nice. The condition of it, it was never abused by the previous owner. The paint is generally okay, no paint rash. I unfortunately have no idea how old this is because this piece of paper doesn't say. Nor did that package, to my recollection. Alright, let's check something out here. So, I've been holding on to this because I went and bought these wheels off AliExpress. This is the exact listing. And this is how they came. They just came in this box, and it says G3 or something on there. So, I guess that's right, because when I click the gold ones, it says SCG G3. It's less than $4 delivered, so that seems alright for wheels that are passing air. No disc brake system, but I mean, they're less than $4. So let's see if we can do a swap-a-roo since this thing has a, screwed together base. Maybe they'll work, maybe they won't. We won't find out until we open it up. Alright, oh, you know what? That's not totally blacked out. It's just heavily smoked, that glass up there. There's two rivets holding it down. Interesting. So, very thick axles. I think UCC is probably the thickest axles in 1/64 scale. So they roll very well, of course. Hot Wheels style, if that's their thing. But this one is a knurled axle. I have no idea if I'm going to save these even for a Choro queue. I don't know. I'll put them in a box and we'll see what happens to those later. Ugh, man. That is... There we go. Gotta break the plastic a little. So it's interesting. They got a big standoff here. I guess that's reinforcing that interior from falling down in case for some reason. It's weird. And like... Back here, they have two pins holding that back of that glass up as well. There's a lot of extra plastic here, I think, for no reason. But, oh, I see what's going. No, I think they could have done away with that. I was thinking maybe it keeps the bottom straight, but that's pretty big, that flange. Not so important. Sorry, I dwell on weird things. Alright, so... Whoop. We got two tiny axles in here. Boy, they don't seem long at all. Boy, this thing would have drum brakes in the back, back then. I don't even know if it would take disc brakes. I have my 3D printed wheels here. Boy, what color? Maybe gold, I suppose. Well, gold calipers and gold wheels, maybe not. Maybe just silver, actually. Yeah, let's do just some silver ones. Let's see if this fits first. Pop that off. Yeah, there's enough room. Very nice. So I shall have some silver brakes. And I need 4 of those. I'm not really here to sell stuff online, but every now and then people always ask, where can I get those 3D printed things? And you're too lazy to actually read my channel's description, so I'll just tell you, you can buy these off Shapeways. Any of my 3D stuff I pop on Shapeways. But that stuff is expensive, you know. If you aren't used to paying exorbitant amounts for hobby things, you don't want to visit Shapeways. I like to just use a little school glue here in case the thing is too loose. Just to keep that caliper from falling loose. And alright, let's pop one of these things on. Get some pliers. It's interesting, the thing literally has like a ridge at the end of the axle. I've never seen that before. So, does it go on and just never come off again? It seems like the axle's too big for that hole. This looks like it's a molded wheel. It's not 3D printed. I can just tell by the plastic. But that's strange that axle doesn't want to go into that hole. It seems too wide. Let's try this one. Again, you see what's happening? If you look closely, that circle is this axle. So these are the most poorly designed wheels I have come across, because this axle is significantly larger than that hole. Let me see. I'll just rest it in that hole and you can see for yourself. Yeah, I don't know. No way. These are just horribly designed. So hold on, in case you actually buy these things, not knowing or ever seeing this video, which is highly probable. I don't really have many subscribers. But I'll tell you, this axle is 0.9 millimeters. So this hole, I don't know if I can measure this. It's like 0.8 if I had to guess. So that's really strange to me. That's weird. That's really weird. One thing I've also noticed is the air passes through. It's actually, that's a totally open thing. But even looking on the outside, it's not an outside inward thing. I don't think so. No, I don't want to ruin that gold paint. But I have a suspicion that hole is also too small on the outside. Okay. So I have a 0.9 millimeter drill bit here, just in a little pin vise drill, and there you go. Hopefully that'll help out. We'll find out. Yeah, it's weird. It actually does seem like the hole is the correct size, because I'm not really drilling any plastic out. But you saw me try to put the axle in twice, so I can't explain it really. Strange, very strange. I could understand if these are 3D printed, that hole wouldn't be the correct size, because if it's a resin printer, the support material will warp the resin as it prints. But these are molded like in a steel mold. Still, I cannot get that wheel on. Not easily. I don't want to break it. Oh, look at this. I'm an idiot. Well, not an idiot. It's just how do I know? So this thing slides out. So this is more like a Hot Wheels, I think. This axle end. But I don't really want exposed axle ends. So that's just a matter of maybe if they package this differently, you would know this thing has axle ends that go like this. Yeah, alright, so that's what's supposed to happen. And then you glue those things into the rods. But, ooh, you know what? I'm not feeling that. I don't like that flat center cap. I would rather just have it. Well, you know what? I have a gold Sharpie. Hold on a second. I don't think that Sharpie did anything. I guess just a little better. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll live with that. I'm being very anal about a free diecast car. But I just like this car, so. Alright, so now you learn from me that you have to pull out the axle ends and glue them into the axle. Maybe you don't even need to glue them, actually. Let's see. Well, I think it would help. So, I think I'm going to actually put the base back on. Use a hand screwdriver so I don't strip out the threads. The only issue with these tube things is you can't just clip off the tube, because you'll crush the end and you can't get the axle in there. So you literally have to saw them with like a Dremel bit. Otherwise you're going to crush the tube, right? So, I did not get that in there properly. I feel like that's a different size Phillips for some reason. You know what? Hold on. You don't want to use the wrong size Phillips or you'll strip out the head. Yeah, you want to use this larger size Phillips. Although it doesn't say what size it is. This is part of a jewelry set. Alright. Boy, what a pain this is turning out to be. I have directional brakes, so I want this one to be on this side. And you know, at least the it fills in the wheel well nicely, so I do like that actually quite a bit. But see, the axle is way too long, so I don't think I can put this on without, well, let me try it. You never know. You know what? They're still under the fenders, so I guess it can be done. Alright, you get the gist, right? I'm going to pause and come back. So I'll be honest with you, it's not really realistic. I mean, here are the original, right? Because they're supposed to be 15-inch wheels. This CG brand, you know, they're making modern size wheels. I don't know if those are 18s. If I had to guess, they're 18, 19-inch wheels. And then also my brake calipers are just too big. I designed these brakes for mini GT wheels, which are generally pretty big wheels. So, but I'm too lazy to print my some new ones. So this is gonna have to do for today. More of like a retro kickback versus this. It's not really the retro one with these wheels. Alright, well, let's look at a few other Kenmeris. I actually have another UCC, which I did a different wheel swap. I think it's the same brand of wheels, actually. But this one I put these bronze meshes on, and this is the normal street car. Not named Desire, but a normal Kenmeri. Let's see, Kyosho did one. Kyosho's version is here, but this is a customized one. Those are not stock wheels, but that's how Kyosho did it. So it's kind of like a tricked out one. And then Konami also did this car. So this one looks like it has standard stamped steel wheels. And the last one is the Aoshima Grachan. They've done many. I've got the BNDS alloys on this one, and look at this crazy body kit, these Liberty Walk treatments that the Grachan cars all have. Oh, I might have to add a license plate to this, or, well, maybe not. It's a race car. Sorry. Just gonna throw this in there. I forgot to mention it before. You did have to use these spacers because I think these wheels are designed for Hot Wheels, which have wider tracks. So I have 1mm spacers on both sides to take up the wheel well. And then I like to use poster putty so I can keep the brake calipers in the general location I think they should be. Alright, well, I think it's a pretty cool toy. I mean, it was free for someone again. I think maybe these wheels might not be the best choice if you're going for realism, but if you're doing like a modern retro throwback, then I do like these wheels more than blanked off gold wheels. I'd rather see disc brakes, giant disc brakes, than just flat surfaces of gold. So everything's a compromise, I guess. I guess I will see you, well, I won't see you in a UCC video because I don't think there are any castings that I want. But I'll definitely see you in a Nissan Skyline video. So we'll see what comes up next later. Thanks for watching today. See you guys.